Maya Kapoor had always believed that trust was the foundation of any friendship, especially when you shared a 600-square-foot apartment with someone in Manhattan's Upper West Side. But on February 14th, 2023, security camera footage would reveal her roommate, Aisha Mehta, sneaking Ryan Chun, Maya's boyfriend of 2 years, into their apartment while Maya was at her night shift at Mount Sinai Hospital, turning that trust into an 8-month obsession with revenge that would end in calculated murder. If you want to see how betrayal can turn deadly, hit subscribe and join our community to never miss these shocking true crime stories. Now let's dive in. But let's go back to where it all began. August 2022, Aisha Mehta, 24, arrived in New York from Mumbai for Columbia University's graduate program in international relations. Her parents had sold property to pay the tuition. After 3 weeks of apartment hunting, she found a listing from Maya Kapoor, a 25-year-old pediatric nurse at Mount Sinai Hospital. Both Indian, both far from home. They met at Starbucks near Columbia. Maya worked night shifts Tuesday through Friday, which meant the apartment was mostly empty during the week. Aisha signed the lease that day. The first month was smooth. Maya's boyfriend Ryan Chun, 28, worked in finance downtown. He'd visit on Maya's days off, always polite to Aisha, always asking about her classes. He seemed devoted to Maya. October changed everything. Aisha's coursework intensified. 6 classes, a research assistant position, networking pressure. The stress was crushing. One Thursday night in late October, she came home at 11 p.m. to find Ryan alone in the living room. Maya was stuck at the hospital on an emergency shift. They started talking about stress, family pressure, immigrant expectations. Ryan had done his MBA at Stern. He understood things Maya didn't. Ryan started showing up when Maya was at work. At first, dinner as friends. By November, twice a week. Maya never knew. She worked her night shifts, came home exhausted, slept through the day. Then in early December, after Aisha got a devastating grade on a major paper, Ryan showed up with Thai food and wine. They drank. They talked. And he kissed her. The affair began that night. They were careful at first. Maya's schedule was predictable. Gone 4 nights a week. Home in the morning. Those nights became theirs. Ryan would park 3 blocks away, check the building's security cameras, leave before dawn. December passed. Then January. They got bolder. Ryan started leaving clothes at the apartment. February 14th, Valentine's Day. Maya had requested the day off months earlier to surprise Ryan with dinner. But 2 days before, a massive flu outbreak hit Mount Sinai's pediatric ward. Maya's supervisor begged her to work an overnight shift on February 13th. She agreed, planning to leave early on the 14th to still make dinner. She texted Ryan, "Have to work tonight, but I'll be done by 2 p.m. tomorrow. Dinner reservations are still at 7. Love you." Ryan showed the text to Aisha. They ordered champagne. They were careless. The flu outbreak resolved faster than expected. At 11:30 p.m., Maya's supervisor sent her home. Maya unlocked the apartment door at 12:45 a.m., trying not to wake Aisha. Then she heard voices from Aisha's room. Ryan's voice. She walked to the bedroom door. It wasn't fully closed. Through the gap, she saw them, Ryan and Aisha in bed together, his arm around her. Maya didn't scream. She didn't cry. She backed away slowly, opened and closed the front door loudly, and called out, "I'm home. They let me leave early." Scrambling. Panic. By the time Ryan emerged, fully dressed but disheveled, Maya was standing in the kitchen, her face blank. "What are you doing here?" Ryan asked, his voice shaking. Maya looked at him, then at Aisha, wrapped in a robe, pale with terror. "I should ask you the same question," Maya said quietly. She walked past them into her bedroom and closed the door. On the other side, she was already planning their punishment. Not a crime of passion. Something calculated. Something that would take time. Ryan broke up with her the next morning via text. He moved to Singapore 3 weeks later for a new job opportunity, leaving both women behind. But Maya didn't care about Ryan anymore. Her focus had shifted entirely to Aisha, the girl who had smiled at her every morning while sleeping with her boyfriend at night, the girl who had sat on their couch watching movies while planning her betrayal. And Maya Kapoor had 8 months to plan the perfect revenge. The morning after Valentine's Day, Ryan texted Maya, "I'm sorry. This isn't working. I need space." He blocked her number 30 minutes later. Aisha got a longer message. "Maya knows. I can't do this anymore. I got a job offer in Singapore. I'm leaving." 3 weeks later, he was gone. No consequences. Just a flight to another continent while two women dealt with the wreckage. Maya didn't care about Ryan anymore. Her focus had shifted entirely to Aisha, the girl who'd smiled at her every morning while sleeping with her boyfriend at night. The first week after discovery, they didn't speak. Aisha stayed in her room or at the library. Maya worked her shifts. The apartment was silent. Aisha looked at other apartments, but everything was too expensive, and guilt paralyzed her. She felt like she deserved this tension. On February 22nd, Maya knocked on Aisha's door with 2 plates of pasta. "We need to talk." They sat at the kitchen table. Maya's voice was calm. "What you did was unforgivable. But we're stuck in this lease until August. So we're going to be civil. Split chores and bills. In August, you move out. Until then, we coexist." Aisha nodded, relieved. "Maya, I'm so sorry. I don't want your apology. I want you to respect boundaries. Can you do that?" "Yes." "Good." They fell into a new routine. Polite, distant, functional. Aisha paid rent on time. She cleaned her areas. She stayed out of Maya's way. Maya worked her shifts, came home, cooked elaborate meals she never shared. Sometimes Aisha would hear Maya watching true crime documentaries late at night. Episodes about betrayal, about revenge, about women pushed too far. March arrived. Aisha threw herself into her studies. She applied for summer internships at the UN, at think tanks. Her grades had suffered during the affair. Now she was trying to salvage her academic standing. Maya watched. That was the thing Aisha didn't realize. Maya was always watching. She noticed when Aisha got rejection emails. She noticed when Aisha video called her parents and lied about how great everything was. In early April, Maya started being friendly again. She'd make extra chai and offer Aisha a cup. She'd leave leftovers with notes. She'd ask about classes. Aisha was confused but grateful. Maybe Maya was forgiving her. "I've been thinking," Maya said one Saturday in mid-April. "Ryan manipulated both of us. You were stressed, vulnerable. He took advantage. I'm not excusing what you did, but I understand it better now." Aisha felt tears coming. "I never meant to hurt you. I know, and I think we can move past this. If you want to stay beyond August, we can renew the lease. Start fresh. Really, really, but complete honesty from now on. No more secrets. I promise." They shook hands. For the first time since February, Aisha felt like she could breathe. But late at night, when Aisha was asleep, Maya sat in her room with a notebook. She'd been documenting everything since Valentine's Day. Aisha's schedule, her habits, her vulnerabilities, the medication she took for anxiety, the shellfish allergy, the fact that she went running alone in Riverside Park every Sunday at 6 a.m., same route, always wearing headphones. Maya had 8 pages of notes, timelines, patterns, possibilities. She researched poisons that mimicked natural causes, accidents that looked like accidents. She created fake social media profiles and joined true crime forums, asking hypothetical questions. She picked up extra hospital shifts, establishing an alibi pattern. By May, Aisha had stopped expecting punishment. Maya's kindness had worked. They watched movies together, went to brunch. Aisha introduced Maya to her Columbia classmates. To everyone, they looked like normal roommates. But Maya's notebook kept growing. She'd narrowed her plan to 3 options. She was waiting for the right moment. June arrived. The semester ended. Aisha's parents asked if she was coming home. She said no. She'd gotten a research position with Professor Hartford. The truth was she couldn't afford the flight and was too ashamed to tell them about the affair. Maya took 2 weeks vacation from the hospital. She told everyone she was visiting family in California. Instead, she stayed in New York, finalizing her plan. She bought items in cash at stores across different boroughs. A cleaning solution from Queens. Latex gloves from Brooklyn. A burner phone from the Bronx. On June 28th, Maya invited Aisha to dinner in an Indian restaurant in Hell's Kitchen. to celebrate making it through the semester and our fresh start. They ate biryani. They laughed about their neighbors, about dating, about missing home. When they got back at 11 p.m., Aisha hugged Maya goodnight. "Thank you for giving me another chance. I won't waste it." "I know you won't," Maya said, smiling. As Aisha closed her bedroom door, Maya stood in the hallway. Tomorrow was June 29th, the day Aisha went on her weekly run in Riverside Park. Early morning. Alone. Predictable. Maya had finally decided exactly how this would end. June 29th, 2023. 5:47 morgens. Aisha's alarm went off. She pulled on her running clothes, grabbed her phone and headphones. Maya's door was closed. Night shift rotation. Wouldn't be home until 8 a.m. Aisha left quietly. Riverside Park was empty at 6 a.m. Aisha started her run at 96th Street, heading north. Headphones in, Bollywood playlist on. Same route she'd taken every Sunday for 4 months. Maya had called in sick at 2 a.m. Stomach flu, she'd told her supervisor. Perfect attendance record, so no questions asked. She left the apartment at 5:30 a.m. through the back service entrance, avoiding the front camera. Black hoodie, black leggings, baseball cap. Just another jogger. She knew Aisha's route. North to 110th, then back. There was a section near 108th where the path curved close to the water. Thick trees on one side, river on the other. No cameras. No witnesses. She checked 3 times. She waited behind the trees. At 6:23 a.m., Aisha ran past. Maya stepped out onto the path. Aisha pulled out one headphone. "Maya, what are you doing here?" "Couldn't sleep. Want company on the way back." They started walking south. The path was empty. "I wanted to talk about August," Maya said. "What about it?" "Maybe you shouldn't renew the lease." Aisha stopped. "What? You said we were past this." "Elite. I've been planning this since February." "Planning what?" "You know what the worst part was? Watching you pretend to be my friend. Eating my food. Lying to my face every single day." "Maya, I made a mistake. You made a choice. Every single night. For 3 months." Aisha backed away. "I'm going back." "No, you're not." Maya pulled out pepper spray. Industrial strength. She sprayed it directly in Aisha's face. Aisha screamed, hands flying to her eyes. The burning was instant. She couldn't see. She stumbled backward. Maya grabbed her shoulders and shoved her toward the river edge. The path dropped off sharply, 6 feet down to the water. Aisha lost her footing. Her head struck the rocks with a crack. Maya climbed down. Aisha was conscious but dazed, blood pooling beneath her head. She tried to speak, but couldn't. Maya knelt beside her. "Ryan's in Singapore having brunch. He'll never face consequences. But you will." She pressed Aisha's face into the shallow water. Aisha fought weakly. The head injury had stolen her strength. Maya held her down for 4 minutes. Aisha's body stopped struggling. Maya checked her pulse. Nothing. She climbed back up, looked around. Still empty. She walked south at normal pace. Just another jogger. At 6:40 a.m., she entered her building through the back. She stripped, showered for 20 minutes, put on hospital scrubs. She left through the front entrance at 7:15 a.m. She stopped at a bodega. The owner knew her. "Morning, Maya. Thought you called in sick." "Feeling better. Going in for a few hours." She arrived at Mount Sinai at 7:45 a.m. Her supervisor was grateful. At 8:30 a.m., a dog walker found Aisha's body. He called 911. At 11 a.m., Detective Sarah Chin knocked on their apartment door. No answer. The building super said Aisha had a roommate. Maya Kapoor works at Mount Sinai. Detective Chun called the hospital. 2 minutes later, Maya answered. "Ms. Kapoor, this is Detective Chun with NYPD. Your roommate, Aisha Mehta, was found deceased this morning in Riverside Park." Silence. "Then what?" "No, I just saw her this morning. I'm sorry for your loss. We need to speak with you. I can come now." "Oh my God." Maya sat in the break room, her face arranged into shock. Then she drove to the station. She gave her statement. Last saw Aisha at 5:45 a.m. Went to work at 7:45. The bodega owner could confirm. Her supervisor could confirm. Hospital cameras would show her arrival. Detective Chun asked about enemies. Problems. Maya hesitated. A few months ago, she had an affair with my boyfriend. He left for Singapore. It caused tension, but we'd worked through it. Did she seem suicidal? No. Stressed about school, but fine. Initial findings suggested a tragic accident. Tripped while running, hit her head, drowned. The pepper spray was unusual, but maybe she'd carried it for self-defense, and it discharged during the fall. Maya left at 2 p.m. She went back to the apartment. Aisha's bedroom door was still closed. The apartment was silent. Maya sat on the couch, and for the first time since February 14th, she allowed herself to smile. Detective Sarah Chun didn't like coincidences, and there were too many coincidences in Aisha Mehta's death. The pepper spray bothered her. Why would someone running in a safe neighborhood at 6 a.m. carry pepper spray, but not use it before hitting their head? The canister was found 3 feet from the body, partially submerged, like it had been dropped, not fallen during impact. The head wound bothered her too. The medical examiner said it was consistent with a fall, but there were also faint bruise marks on Aisha's shoulders, like someone had grabbed her. And Maya Kapoor's timeline bothered her most. Called in sick at 2 a.m., then showed up at work at 7:45 a.m. feeling better. The hospital was 40 minutes from Riverside Park. Maya's apartment was 5 minutes. On July 2nd, Detective Chun pulled security footage from every building within 6 blocks of the crime scene. Most had nothing, but a bodega on 106th Street had a camera facing the street. At 6:35 a.m. on June 29th, a figure in a black hoodie and baseball cap walked past, heading south. Average height. Could be anyone. Chun showed the footage to the bodega owner from Maya's alibi. Is this the woman who bought coffee that morning? He squinted. Maybe. I don't know. We get a lot of people. But you said you knew her. Said she comes in all the time. I know Maya, but I was busy that morning. She came in. I made her order. She paid. I didn't really look at her face. The alibi was weaker than Chun had thought. On July 5th, Chun interviewed Aisha's Columbia classmates. Most said Aisha seemed fine. Stressed about grades. Worried about internships, but not suicidal. One student, Jennifer Park, mentioned something else. She was weird about her roommate. Weird how? Like, overly grateful. She kept saying Maya had forgiven her for something, but she wouldn't say what. Chun went back to Maya's statement. The affair. The betrayal. Maya claimed they'd worked through it. But had they? On July 8th, Chun brought Maya in for a second interview. Maya wore the same expression. Sad, cooperative, helpful. Tell me more about the affair, Chun said. Maya's face tightened. I'd rather not relive that. I understand. But I need to know, were you really past it? Yes. We moved on. You found out on Valentine's Day. Aisha died 4 months later. That's not a lot of time to process that kind of betrayal. I processed it. I forgave her. Did you? Maya's eyes flashed for just a second. Then the calm returned. Yes, I did. Chun tried another angle. You called in sick at 2 a.m., then showed up at 7:45. That's unusual. I felt better. I didn't want to leave them short-staffed. Stomach flu doesn't usually resolve in 5 hours. Mine did. Chun had no physical evidence. No weaknesses. No camera footage showing Maya at the crime scene. Just instinct. And instinct wasn't enough for an arrest warrant. But on July 12th, a Columbia student named David Tran came forward. He'd been in Riverside Park on June 29th, walking his dog early. Around 6:20 a.m., near 108th Street, he'd seen 2 women on the path. One was running, the other was waiting near the trees. He hadn't thought much of it at the time. Can you describe them? One had running clothes. The other wore all black. A hoodie. Did you see their faces? No, I was too far away. But when I heard about the death on the news, I remembered seeing them. I don't know if it's related. It wasn't much, but it was something. Chun pulled Maya's work records. Over the past 4 months, she'd picked up 30 extra shifts, way above her normal schedule. Building an alibi pattern, Chun checked Maya's credit card statements, all routine except for several cash withdrawals in April and May. Large amounts. No explanation for what she'd bought. On July 18th, Chun executed a search warrant for Maya's apartment. They found Aisha's room untouched, exactly as she'd left it. They found Maya's room meticulously clean. Too clean. Bleach smell in the bathroom. A recently purchased steam cleaner in the closet. And in Maya's nightstand, they found a notebook. 8 pages of notes. Aisha's schedule. Her habits. Her routes. The words Sunday 6 a.m. Riverside circled 3 times. Diagrams of the park path. Notes about security cameras and their blind spots. Chun arrested Maya on July 19, 2023, for first-degree murder. During the interrogation, Maya said nothing for 2 hours. Then her lawyer arrived. They talked privately for 30 minutes. When her lawyer left, Maya looked at Detective Chun and smiled. "I want to make a statement." Chun pressed record. "Aisha Mehta destroyed my life. She slept with my boyfriend for 3 months while pretending to be my friend. She looked me in the eyes every single day and lied. Ryan Chun flew to Singapore and faced 0 consequences. He's probably engaged to someone new by now. But Aisha stayed. In my apartment. Eating my food. Taking up space. And I realized something. The world doesn't punish people like her. The world doesn't punish Ryan. So I had to." "Are you confessing to murder?" "I'm confessing to justice. I planned it for 4 months. I researched. I prepared. I executed perfectly. And I'd do it again." Chun stared at her. "You ruined your own life for revenge." "No," Maya said calmly. "I ruined hers. Mine was already ruined the moment she betrayed me." The confession was recorded. Maya was charged with first-degree murder. The trial began in November 2023. The prosecution presented the notebook, the timeline, the confession. The defense argued temporary insanity, crime of passion, emotional disturbance. The jury deliberated for 6 hours. Guilty. Maya Kapoor was sentenced to 25 years to life in Bedford Hills Correctional Facility. She showed no emotion when the verdict was read. She looked at Aisha's parents in the courtroom and said nothing. Ryan Chun, safely in Singapore, was never charged. He deleted his social media, changed his phone number, and moved on with his life. And in a small apartment on Manhattan's Upper West Side, 2 empty bedrooms sit silent, holding the ghosts of betrayal that turned into murder. November 2023. Manhattan Criminal Court. The trial of Maya Kapoor began on a cold Monday morning. The courtroom was packed. Columbia students, journalists, true crime enthusiasts. Aisha's parents flew in from Mumbai, aged 10 years and 4 months. The prosecution's case was straightforward. They presented the notebook with its detailed plans. The timeline showing Maya's fake sick call and appearance at the bodega. The security footage of the hooded figure. David Tran's testimony about seeing 2 women at the crime scene. And most damning, Maya's confession. Assistant District Attorney Michael Ross played the recording for the jury. Maya's voice, calm and calculated. "I planned it for 4 months. I researched. I prepared. I executed perfectly. And I'd do it again." The defense argued emotional disturbance. Maya's lawyer, Rebecca Walsh, painted a picture of a woman destroyed by betrayal, pushed beyond her breaking point. "My client suffered immense psychological trauma. She discovered her boyfriend and her roommate, someone she trusted, in the most devastating way possible. This wasn't premeditated murder. This was a woman in crisis." But the notebook destroyed that argument. 8 pages of detailed planning, research into poisons and accidents, careful documentation of Aisha's schedule. This wasn't a crime of passion. This was calculated revenge. The jury heard from Columbia students who testified that Aisha seemed happy in her final weeks. They heard from Maya's hospital colleagues who said she seemed normal, friendly, showed no signs of psychological breakdown. They heard from the medical examiner who confirmed Aisha died from drowning after blunt force trauma to the head, consistent with being pushed. On November 18th, after 6 hours of deliberation, the jury returned. Guilty of first-degree murder. Maya showed no reaction. She sat motionless as the verdict was read. Judge Patricia Morrison scheduled sentencing for December 1st. At sentencing, Aisha's mother gave a victim impact statement. She could barely speak through her tears. "My daughter came to America for a better future. She made a terrible mistake, yes. But she didn't deserve to die. She was 24 years old. She had her whole life ahead of her. And this woman took everything from us." Maya was given a chance to speak. She stood, looked directly at Aisha's parents, and said, "Your daughter destroyed my life." "I'm not sorry." The courtroom erupted. Judge Morrison banged her gavel, restored order, and delivered the sentence. 25 years to life at Bedford Hills Correctional Facility. No possibility of parole for 25 years. Maya was let out in handcuffs. She didn't look back. In the aftermath, investigators tried to locate Ryan Shun. He was working for a fintech company in Singapore, had gotten engaged to a woman he'd met 3 months after leaving New York. When contacted by NYPD, he declined to comment. His lawyer issued a statement. Mr. Chin had no involvement in or knowledge of the tragic events that occurred. He declines to participate in any further proceedings. He was never charged with anything. He faced no consequences. He moved on with his life, while 2 families were destroyed by his actions. Columbia University held a memorial for Aisha. Her professors remembered her as bright, ambitious, hardworking. Her classmates remembered her smile, her kindness, her dreams of working at the UN. No one mentioned the affair. No one mentioned Ryan. Maya Kapoor is currently serving her sentence at Bedford Hills. According to prison records, she's a model inmate. She works in the prison library. She takes online courses. She's mentioned for parole consideration in 2048. She'll be 50 years old. The apartment on West 104th Street was re-rented in August 2023. The new tenants have no idea what happened there. They complain about the small kitchen and the thin walls. They don't know that in one of those bedrooms, a betrayal festered into an obsession that ended in murder. Aisha Mehta's body was cremated and her ashes returned to Mumbai. Her parents set up a scholarship fund in her name at her former university. Every year, it helps one student pursue graduate studies abroad. They want something good to come from their daughter's death, even if justice feels incomplete. Because the man who created this tragedy by choosing to betray 2 women, who slept with his girlfriend's roommate, who discarded both of them when caught, who fled to another country to avoid the mess he'd made, faced nothing. No charges. No consequences. No accountability. Just a new job, a new relationship, and a clean slate, while Maya Kapoor rots in prison and Aisha Mehta's parents bury their only child. This is the story of what happens when betrayal turns into revenge, when trust becomes obsession, when justice means taking a life because the system won't hold anyone else accountable. 3 people made choices that night, but only 2 paid the price, and one of them paid with her life.